Nancy Pelosi believes that the border wall is a luxury that we can't afford. Nancy Pelosi's shockingly out-of-touch statement came Thursday during her press conference. Meanwhile, President Trump is dominating these negotiations. Pelosi, meanwhile, is having a very difficult time trying to keep control over her own party, because her own party is going around her, realizing that she is a weak negotiator, and they want to play ball with President Donald Trump. So here are just a few of the things that are going on in Nancy Pelosi's life right now that is obviously driving her to some kind of agitated mental state where she can see fit to stand before the American people and say that the president insisting on a border wall is some kind of luxury. It turns out that the Democrat Problem Solvers Caucus went to the White House and met with President Donald Trump without Nancy Pelosi. Let's take a look at Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, these two. This was their response after President Donald Trump gave his most inspiring speech ever. They look like freaks. They do not look like trustworthy people. And it has been all downhill for them ever since. And we are now coming up on 4 weeks of this government shutdown with no end in sight because they refuse to fund President Donald Trump's border wall to the tune of $5.7 billion. That's not a luxury considering all of the many things that Nancy Pelosi and her friends spend money on, including Planned Parenthood and every $1 trillion omnibus budget. But the wall, which only costs $5.7 billion and is going to keep the American people safe, that's a luxury, according to Nancy, who vacations at a 5-star resort in Hawaii and sits around in San Francisco with her rich, fancy friends. Well, the problem solvers are trying to get things done. They went into the White House, they met with President Trump, they did so right around Nancy Pelosi. And in fact, there are a lot of Democrats who are now saying nice things about the wall without actually using the term wall. You've got Hakeem Jeffries, who said that Democrats are prepared to have a conversation about infrastructure on the border. You have Democrat Katie Hill of California, who said that Democrats are open to physical barriers. You have Sherry Bustos, who is the head of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee and probably more influential in the Democrat House win this year in the midterm than Nancy Pelosi was. So she's got some weight. And she says that a partial wall would be fine. A partial wall. Well, you know, this all suggests that Democrats realize that the government shutdown is hurting them. They realize that President Trump has all the cards, and they realize that Nancy Pelosi is leading them off a cliff with her friend Chuck Schumer. They are losing control of their party right before our very eyes, as evidenced by the fact that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is now on the House Financial Services Committee. Pelosi obviously didn't want that. Now, Nancy Pelosi is coming under a lot of fire, a lot of scrutiny, a lot of criticism because she ignored the angel moms who went to her office. These are mothers, okay, family members of people who have been killed by illegal immigrants in this country because we refuse to secure our borders. Nancy Pelosi did not even acknowledge them. She still has not even acknowledged them. The optics could not possibly be worse for Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. Meanwhile, President Trump is making art of the deal moves. He guaranteed back pay to all of the furloughed workers. So now these people who are not working look at the situation and they realize that President Trump is prepared to pay them as soon as the shutdown is over. It's the Democrats who are keeping them from getting their paychecks by dragging this on, instead of just giving the $5.7 billion for the southern border wall. The Democrats now have to shoulder the blame of this shutdown. Nancy Pelosi was mocked and ridiculed for her gambit to try to postpone the State of the Union. She said that it's a security concern because, you know, the government is shut down and we can't secure the president, as though she cares about securing the president. Well, Department of Homeland Security Chief Kirstjen Nielsen came out and thanked the Secret Service and her own agency, DHS, for agreeing to step up and provide security for the State of the Union. She said, the Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Secret Service are fully prepared to support and secure the State of the Union. Problem solved then. It's unclear if Nancy Pelosi really has the power to prevent Trump from giving the State of the Union on the House floor, but that argument is going on, including on the pages of our site. Chuck Schumer, meanwhile, really has no idea what he is doing. He tried to emulate the Republicans who have been standing up on the House floor, including Mo Brooks, who gave this amazing, amazing speech with posters of the illegal immigrant victims, the victims of this crime wave, including a 13-year-old girl who was beheaded by narco gangsters. It was moving. It was very moving. It was devastating. And meanwhile, Chuck Schumer comes out and he thinks he's clever, holding up posters of some of the furloughed government workers. There's a man who has a heart condition. Look, Chuck Schumer can open the federal government back up in 2 minutes with Nancy Pelosi if they agree to fund the wall. And here's the biggest thing that they are afraid of. Here's the biggest reason why President Trump has all the negotiating power, because he is not giving up. As he said on a conference call Wednesday with some of his supporters, we're going to stay out for a long time if we have to. We'll be out for a long time. People are very impressed with how well government is working with the circumstances that we're under. Impressed indeed. President Donald Trump is probably going to get this border wall one way or another, and we will keep you updated with everything that's going on.